11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome, everybody, to our daily podcast. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern, so that's 4 Pacific, about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We do three gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube, and then we simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the live comments that come in from people that are watching the show live. Periodically, we'll take the audio and post it up on iTunes as a podcast, and lost track of something there. So there's 4 hosts. 2 of us are here today. We got Dano jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Yep, glad to be here.
I'm down here in Arizona, and we've got Heavy and Jimmy joining us again. They came down from Phoenix, and we just got back to Tucson from Tombstone, visiting some gun shops and some of the stuff to see down there. So no Smeggy today. I think Bob is driving as well, so it'll be Dano and I, and then our 2 guests. So let's see. Today is episode. Gotta scroll back over.
333.
Yep, 333. We're going to do an entertainment today. Have you ever learned any practical tips from a pistol fight in a movie or TV? We'll get into good idea, bad idea, and should we talk about our guns at work? And then, we don't have Smeggy here today, so we'll play it up by ear if we're going to move over the hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown, which we probably will, right? And then all the stuff we normally talk about on a daily basis, like our gun of the day and our movie of the day and all that. We definitely have some gun shops of the day. But before we dig in, we usually take a break at the beginning, see if anything happened overnight. In this case, this morning, it's worth talking about. We've been out driving with no radio, so I'm sure Dano knows more about what's happening in the news, but we heard something at the last gun shop that there's more than one thing happening today.
Not on my end. I spent most of the day asleep, so.
Well, we're definitely not following the wagon, the tail of the news, but there was an incident with the Congress people playing baseball or something this morning, Virginia. Very early, at least early Arizona time. We started hearing about it on the radio at like 6 a.m. I heard it first from Tony over on Gun Channels, who had mentioned it in the lobby chat. And then I turned on my radio and heard a little bit about it. But then we went to this last gun shop we went to down in Sierra Vista, which is about an hour or something from where we are now. They mentioned something about a post office or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, somebody shot at the post office.
So I guess we'll depend on the people watching live to maybe fill us up on that. But one of the things that we've done when we started doing this show is decide not to just follow the, the news of the day or the agenda-based headlines. So if it's okay with you guys, we don't know anything about it anyway, and if it's okay with Dana, we'll just get in with the show, I guess.
That works for me.
So at some point I'm sure we'll have comments on it, but since we don't know anything about it, there's no point in just
right.
So otherwise,
let's get on with the big.
What happened on Gun Channels last night? We had hit or miss. You were in hit or miss.
Yeah, I was in hit or miss. Night Strike had a pretty good show. It was obviously Night Strike because he was there. It's his show.
Was Smeggy there yesterday?
No, Smeggy wasn't there. Cycle Camp was. Too Hottie, Travis P11, myself. I really hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. They were discussing a Florida sheriff or something like that, or mayor getting flack for telling the citizenry to arm itself, to just in case there's another attack or whatever. And I guess a lot of people are giving him hell for saying that, like, why are you telling people to go buy guns? And he's like, hey, well, the only person that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. So I summed up. And then he was also mentioning about a British. Yeah, nobody else was here. I don't know, somebody in the British government, constable or something like that, was saying that maybe firearms is, arming the citizens might be the next step for them. to help them deal with their terrorist activities or whatever. That's kind of what the headline was about, but not too sure if that's actually the content of it. Might have been just fishing. So, I mean, Night Strike went over it briefly. It sounds more like somebody was asking the person, and he said, "That's a good question. That could be a possible solution," and that's it. So, and then that's about it. Yeah, that's all we really talked about that in our trip to Tucson and the possible foundation of Gun Channel City.
Oh yeah, what was that all about?
It's Cycle Camp lives in Connecticut, and we were talking about firearm restrictions, and he's like, Connecticut, enough said, right? Because I was asking for parts for if anybody had parts that he wanted to sell for an AR pistol, and he's like, Connecticut, enough said. And I'm like, need to move to Arizona, and then Night Strike and I got into it a little bit, and then we just talked up the idea of getting all the gun channel people to move down this way, and then go make a city because there'll be enough of us. So
maybe one day.
Yeah, was the name of it like GC or Gun Channel City?
G City.
We'll go Gun Channel City. Don't need to be all exclusionary, mister.
Okay, so I was asking in the chats, and I saw Dano asking on the Gun Channel side if our audio is okay. Heavy and Jimmy and I are sitting in the cop car out front of Tucson Guns here in Tucson with the AC going. We didn't really get to a good place to do the show. Well, at least a place that didn't have loud music blaring in the background. So if our audio is a little low, we apologize. But we're not here for quality as much as consistency, at least.
Not here for quality. We're here for quantity.
There you go.
I would like to think that we do have some quality. Otherwise, there's no point in showing up.
Well, I mean, audio quality, I guess. We don't spend a lot of money on electronics.
That's true.
So it's episode 333. It's Wednesday. Wednesdays are our lighter day. And let's dig in. We got entertainment first. So the topic of the day, and this probably came in from one of the either Patreon supporters or somebody that was watching our scheduling show. We do a scheduling show on the second Saturday of each month where our Patreon supporters and ourselves get together and schedule out the whole month worth of shows. So this one came in from somebody. Have you ever learned practical tips for a pistol fight in a movie or TV?
Let me think about that for a second.
That's a good question.
Well, I know a lot of people were trying to give it up to the whole John Wick thing, but I would say the only practical tip I really learned from movies when it comes to gunfights is don't do what they do. Because what they're doing is strictly for theater. There's not really, I mean, they may look cool, but the tactics that they use, they're used for filming. So, good in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but with John Wick, though, and Keanu Reeves at Terran Tactical, I mean, they made the video on YouTube look pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I know. But, I mean, again, it was done for movies.
But he still had to do it.
Well, but
No,
he wanted to be
that.
as authentic, I guess. But yeah, you're right. Like a lot of times they'll do like a weird thing because it looks cool, not because anybody actually does it, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm sure his pistol technique was fine. I haven't seen John Wick 2. I've seen John Wick 1. It was very entertaining. But again, it's all the stuff you see. It's like it's like real fighting versus what you see, the coordinated fights you see in movies. It's completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like saying how you're going to learn martial arts from a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
the purpose of Hollywood or TV shows is to entertain. Its primary purpose is not to educate. And so I would be surprised if anybody actually learned something. They may have learned some really bad habits or some really bad ideas, but learning good things, probably not. Entertained? Sure, absolutely.
Now it says TV too. Is there any exceptions in TV? I think TV's worse. It always seems like they're trying to, you know, like if somebody's like a law enforcement and they're carrying a sidearm, it's like they go out of their way to make it outside the waistband and as like obvious as possible.
Yeah.
Like in a way that no one actually ever carries because it's not. And it's, you know, it's annoying. It's right in front of you.
The whole gun is part of their
Like,
costume.
Costume, exactly. So I'm going to jump back for just a second since this is an interactive medium and we encourage people to use the chat. So the Ink Dog Body over on the Gun Channel side is referring back to what we were talking about earlier. And this is an unpleasant side effect of what happened this morning. It says that he said the shooting occurred on the same day the member of Congresses were the members of Congress, there's just one, were set to hold a hearing on legislation of the HPA. So the hearing was among those canceled in the wake of the shooting as the House suspended legislative activity. So I think we heard something about it being suspended, but hopefully that means it's not off the ballot. It's just you know, delayed. But thanks for that info.
Yeah, that's
Now we'll kind of wait and see if anybody has anything to add as far as movies and TV. Who's that guy? Oh, probably mall security. He's got armor on, huh? That's got to be pleasant. It's like 100 degrees. And there's a whole guy walking around like mall security with like soft armor on.
he's probably driving.
Yeah, I'm seeing over on the Gun Channel side. Angry says, "I agree with Heavy."
Yeah, he's
so you
probably,
got one on your side.
That was probably a typo. He probably meant to say disagree.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he knows what's up.
My phone does that all the time.
Something though that we probably could.
Outdoors Channel sometimes has some stuff on shooting.
That's what made me think that there is probably, if we go to TV shows, if we were to watch like a competition shoot, there might be ways that competition shooters can glean info from each other, you know, manipulations or setups or something that, you know, they didn't know. So that might be something you could get from a specific TV show, not necessarily mainstream entertainment type of TV show.
Like, actually, there's going back to a movie. What was that movie with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx? Collateral. That one scene where he shoots the taxi driver. Yeah, where he shoots the dude in the face.
That guy went to front sight for that one, so not as same as Taryn,
right?
Yeah. But he went to some place to learn manipulations that were at least semi-accurate. No, like I don't know, the laptop bag or something. Just set it.
So, I mean, again, very entertaining. I mean, I guess the draw technique was decent, you know, but
I mean, there are two very minor things that I think, yeah, they're correct in pretty much everyone, and that's grabbing the magazine and inserting the magazine. It's all the stuff in between that tends to be entertainment.
Yeah, and they don't worry about like accurate reloads or going dry or how to. Right. You know, they go dry and then they're gone or act surprised or get shot or whatever. Nobody's actually doing actual.
Get the critical shot and then the gun doesn't shoot because it's empty. Because they didn't monitor their ground count, do a tactical reload. I hate that word tactical. You know, the word tactical only means useful, right? So all these jackasses out there buying all this tactical shit. They're buying useful shit, supposedly.
Well, Ebrace on the YouTube side is saying that thanks to the 3-gun videos, I'm going to look ridiculous this duck and dove season. The ducks will think you're cool, especially when you miss. They'll be like, "Yay, keep doing that." Angry saying he's learned about new guns in movies. I guess that counts. Yeah. Sure, we definitely get to see some stuff that you normally don't get to see sometimes.
And that is true, especially, I think primarily the higher end stuff like Agent K's and more. When I say obscure, it's usually because of the amount of money that they cost or these restrictions that are on them that we rarely ever see.
And I'm going to go ahead and say we like to look towards the future too. So I think that if we as the consumer appreciate the stuff that's out there that's more legit, like the WIC, right? They put some effort into making it right, then they're going to see that that's worth the extra time, and the actors are going to see that it gives them credibility, right? So perhaps we'll see more of that as we appreciate it and they see it. Well, let's think of what's the Jaeger movie?
Oh,
Daylight's End.
Daylight's
Daylight's
End.
End, yeah.
I mean, you're not going to see those guys faking it.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay those guys like Sonny and Jaeger enough to do dumb gun stuff. So it was pretty good handling in that one, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of the more recent movies, they've been actually reloading and running out of ammo, and it's it's not like the 80s and 90s where they had
Or Western.
yeah.
Things are getting better, and they know that even if people don't appreciate the subtleties, the people that do, and then it just looks better, right?
Yeah.
Like Heat, everything started looking better.
What was the movie you said that Jaeger played a part in?
Daylight's End.
It's sort of a zombie type of movie.
Daylight Time?
Daylight's End. It's on Amazon. You can watch it on Amazon now.
Okay. Daylight's End. All right. Is it one of those that you would? We're getting a little bit off topic, but is it a movie that you'd say is worth watching, or just if you got time to kill?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The star of the movie is the SOCOM 16 with a suppressor on it. The one guy who's the guy who carries it is the hero, I guess.
Yeah.
He runs around using it really effectively. And then one of my favorite dudes out there, Sonny, is an ex-Spetsnaz guy and now lives in Florida and teaches and has done stuff. And he's like the main buddy, like the second, his right-hand man kind of thing. And yeah, he's doing all kinds of neat and worrying about if mags are loaded off and top, right?
I will say the gunfights in those movies were actually very interesting. They were very entertaining.
Unfortunately, it wasn't like, massive blockbusters thing, but at least it's a step towards that, and we, take steps to get to where we're going.
There's an action flick made with the help of real gun guys. So.
All right, I think we've solved that one. So I don't see, there's a lot of conversation about the situations today over on the YouTube side, and a couple of Pants is saying the old 35-shot revolvers on the YouTube side.
Western, yeah.
But I'm going to suggest let's move along and keep going. I guess I'm going to be a little bit quicker today because we're not on any kind of power, so I don't want my laptop battery to die out. It usually gives us more than an hour, but just to keep it moving. So we'll get into good idea, bad idea, and Bob and Jimmy and Heavy will take their roles. But we'll be talking about, should you talk about your guns at work? But before we do, we always take a break between the first and second segment of the show each day. Feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community. It's focused on firearms, completely run by its members. So because of that, we like to feature one of the members each day. Hey, who's holding this laptop up right now? Jimmy James. So he's the host of the Early Watch show. Most weekday mornings, he does a long format show. He obviously participates in the other stuff. Right now, we just drove down to Tombstone, and he's literally holding the laptop right now.
So I'm still working, guys.
Yeah, putting his ass to work.
Not the clock.
Yeah, and one of the things I have to say about Jimmy, and I realize you're sitting right there listening to me, but that's all right. I'll let you get away with it. Is you were one of the first, if not the first, to do a long format show with some loose structure to it. It wasn't just a lobby. It actually had periodically things that were set in the show that you would do, and that made it different, as well as the fact that you did it during the daytime. That made it very different. And
Very
the
much.
fact that you were willing to step up and give it a shot and put that out there, I think was great.
It was awesome. Look at how Gun Channels has changed. It used to be almost exclusively middle of the night, us sitting around talking about guns and whatever. And with Jimmy James doing the early watch, it's almost changed entirely to a daytime community. I mean, most of us are on here during the day now, and it's 100% because of Jimmy's efforts. And when you're mentioning a little bit of format, he's given me access to the spreadsheet that they use. It's as elaborate as ours. He's definitely got a lot of time put into organizing the show. So thanks, Jimmy, for doing that.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right. So tomorrow we'll talk about what we really feel he's not standing right here.
Yeah. Tomorrow, the other side of Jimmy James.
But we do take a break like that, and we want to say thanks to our members, so we do that every single day. And now we'll get into the second topic today, good idea, bad idea. Back when Bob and I started doing the show a long time ago, we would basically tie our wrists together and knife fight over these things, but now it's gotten a little bit more Californiaized. So we're going to be more civil about it, but the topic is, should you talk about guns at work? And usually we first go around and say, good idea, bad idea. So we'll go Dano first. Good idea, bad idea?
Generally, bad idea.
Heavy?
Oh, that's a tough one because it all depends on the environment.
You don't get to qualify. Good
Okay,
idea,
okay.
bad idea?
Bad idea.
Jimmy?
In this day and age, I'm gonna have to say bad idea.
I'll just say good idea to be
Qualified.
contrary. I'll say good idea, but we all know that we've got qualifiers to this. So
Yeah.
I think overall, I'd like to see it be a place where it's a good idea. I know Smeggy's made good, but I'm probably not the one to talk because I either work at a gun shop or online talking about guns. So
Yeah.
So where do you guys want to qualify that with?
Dano, you want to
Yeah,
go first?
Who?
Dano.
Oh, did we drop out?
Oh, okay, me. Okay, I didn't hear you. Yeah, I think if you work in a gun-friendly environment, whether that's actually part of the industry that you service, or you've heard other people talking about, oh, this weekend I'm going to go, shoot a 3-gun, where you've overheard conversations like that, to know that it's a friendly environment because this is your income, this is your livelihood. And it's one of those subjects, kind of like politics and religion. When it comes to your income, you got to be careful in safeguarding it. And that's what I mean by generally, it's not a good idea unless you happen to work in one of those environments that you, like I said, you hear people are talking about shooting already and things seem to be going okay, or you actually happen to work in a gun industry sort of company.
Oh, I could go with you on that. And like you said, the pros and cons on that are if you work in a gun-friendly environment or not. One of my main things, that was one of my main points that I wanted to use, but since you did beat me to it, I'm going to throw out my other one. Do you really want a bunch of strangers knowing what kind of guns you got? Or people you don't really know that you just work with? Do you really want them to know you even have firearms? Because you never know, they could be shady, like Jimmy here sitting in the back of a cop car hearing that and decide to break into your house. I got nothing but love for Jimmy, though.
I've got good experiences. I can remember when I was younger, and I forget, I've been working with my assistant manager for months and months, and something came up one day, because I didn't talk about guns at work. I wasn't into guns as much, so, I mean, we'd go hunting and stuff, but we didn't necessarily, well, we would go out shooting on the weekends, but not necessarily like, this guy is, like a total gun nut. But anyhow, something came up, and we were like, looked at each other and went, "Oh, you shoot?" And then, yeah, I mean, we became best friends. I mean, he was my assistant manager, so it was like, you're gonna know each other anyway. But it's like, oh crap! And then we started going out shooting constantly, and both got way more into guns after that. So it turned out to be, real fun. So, and if I would have never said anything about guns, or if you wouldn't have, I forgot who said anything, but we would have never known. We would have been working there for years, just never even knowing that we both were really into guns.
That's true. So I guess there's that balance you got to find.
But pretty much all the comments are saying, you got to know the audience. You got to know who you're talking to or who's overhearing it. We talked about putting gun stickers or something up in your cubicles or like in your, shop area or something like that. And that can be, I guess, a little bit control about who sees it.
Kind of bringing it up without bringing it up.
Well, it's always bringing it up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who walks by your thing,
right.
They know what a gun thing is, they know.
Well,
that's why I kind of like the little subtle ones, like my 7.62 patch or something. Like, there's little subtle ways to let people know you're a gun guy without.
Or the armless bear of California.
Yeah, we were looking at the Endo Everyday No Days Off. The company, they make a patch that's the California flag, but the bear has the California flag is just a bear walking through a full field. And they took the front arms off of it because it has no right to bear arms, right? So it's one of those things where if you know what you're looking at, you go, oh, okay, Second Amendment, you're a gun guy. But if you're not, you're just like, that guy doesn't have a right. That's the wrong California flag there.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Especially at a workplace, can you give me maybe an example of how a phrase that you might use when trying to test the waters on if somebody is a gun guy or not? as far as something you might say to try to get a better feel without outing yourself?
Maybe asking about hunting. Did you ever go hunting?
I like the idea of the subversive idea. Putting things up that only gun people would know about. I guess you could bring up hunting, like, oh yeah, like somebody asks you what you're doing. I'm going hunting this weekend. That might open the door. Yeah, I can see that. Somebody asks you, what you're doing. You say, oh, I'm doing a 3-gun competition. They might look at you like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know Jimmy's in the car, so Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, I guess the short and sweet of it is the reason why I say it's a bad idea. People are just kind of too soft nowadays. There's too many soft people out there now. If you get to know somebody and you know that they might be on the level or at least as like-minded as you, then yeah, bringing it up. You might be wrong, you might be right, but at least you know them and it's not a stranger or something like that. I don't know. There's not real any backlash that'll happen if you do talk about it, I guess, unless they go complaining to your boss or something like that. But
start spreading rumors. Yeah. Crazy gun nut.
Yeah. So I mean, I just would probably rather not.
Yeah. I had an idea pass in my head, and I don't know if this is a bad idea or a good idea, but if it's somebody that, let's say that you think they might be and you want to test the waters, somebody that you've known a while, is if you went up to them and said to them, do you happen to, my brother shoots pistols on the weekends, and he asked me if I could pick up some 22 ammo. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Do you know a place locally where I could find some?
So act like you're the one that doesn't know about guns.
No, because now you're basing that whole conversation on a lie. Because if you know about guns and you're like, hey, do you know anything about ammo? And they're like, go to take you out, and it turns out you know more about it than they do, they're going to feel like you're just messing with their head. Or just
well, maybe modify the question. Say, do you know where I could find some, period?
Be like, locally. I don't know. I think it'd be better off just mentioning that, I'm going hunting, or me and my buddies are going shooting. He's got a new gun he wants to try out or something. Something that's not gonna be a lie, and doesn't belittle the other person. Because generally people don't like to be friends with people who fuck with them.
Right, but if you mention it in the wrong crowd, there could be serious repercussions, and that's why I almost want to say a white lie to protect yourself because of the potential repercussions. I mean,
if you
that guy who's a coworker,
it's so much of a problem that could get you fired. Then don't mention anything at all.
What about bringing up like a gun movie? Hey, did you see Wick? And then, hey, did you hear about how he trained with Karen? And then they're like, what does that mean? And then you're like, oh, okay. Or if they're like, yeah, that was awesome. You see that YouTube video or something?
Yeah, and that's a good example of. And did you ever think about getting a gun like that? That's an opening question, and it's honest.
Connery figured it out right there. Just rub hops on your fingers. We're going to work, and then gun people will head right over them. Like that is. Get one of those Hopies air fresheners that they make. Cover them in your cubicle. Like, oh, you shoot. Yep. So on the YouTube site, Chesney, whatever, is saying, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but it's sad that we have to live and work in a society where we cannot talk about guns for fear of reprisal from others. And what does that sound like? Fill in the blank guns with, any subsegment of the population that's felt oppressed. And this is a country where those oppressed rise up. So we just need to take a cue from them, show them that we're the same thing. You're oppressing us the same way you felt oppressed, and get our pride and our independence, right? We can come out of the gun closet, gun cabinet.
Gun marriages.
No, but I mean, seriously, we're persecuted like this. We're literally talking about how do we approach the
problem
fact that we
is-
like to do something?
The hypocrites that are persecuting us don't realize that they're persecuting us, and even if they do,
Yeah,
they don't
they're
care because they think they're right.
double-faced. Yeah, you're wrong. You're a killer. All right. Well, I think this is not a real easy good idea, bad idea. I think, well, I'm assuming you guys can agree, it's probably a bad idea unless the circumstances are right, and then it could be a good idea, but it's
Well, it was a good idea for you, evidently.
yeah. But I was the boss, which I had no fear. I mean, what are they gonna do? I can just get rid of my assistant if he turned out to be an anti-gunner. But the other way around, if you say something to a boss or to somebody who's like in HR, those are the ones I hate. When there's somebody in the like book areas and just like, oh, your check got weighted, just little things to mess with you. If they're super anti-gun or something, and you're flaunting it, or what they consider flaunting it, and then decide, oh, that needs repercussion. That was what I'd be scared about. Or somebody, oh, I didn't want to promote this guy because I'm afraid he'd go off or something weird.
Yep. All right. Anything else on that one?
No, I think at this point we're down here in Arizona, so it's about 100, or it's maybe 100 today. Talk about what windbreakers we were wearing. We had dusters down there.
It's time. It's time for the Tactical Pop Quiz. That's right, men and women of YouTube and gun channels. It's time for the Tactical Pop Quiz of the day. Smeggy's not here, so I'm going to have to use G-Webs as my lovely assistant for today.
Yep.
And let me scroll in the right place here. Get that rolling. All right. G-Webs, you want to keep on one side and I'll keep a look on the other side, or can you keep an eye on both?
I can watch both.
Okay. All right. I will read the question twice. Today's question, I want to thank again Angry American. So no shouting out the answer there, mister.
Let me ask one thing. Do you need both parts, or is it an either or?
I'll let you decide which is which you want to go with there.
Well, let's just go with either or, so it'll be a little easier to watch.
Yep, that's fine with me. So thanks again, Angry, for sending this in. And the question is as follows, and I shall read it twice. In the film Assassins, what firearm is used by Antonio Banderas' character in the cemetery scene? In the film Assassins, what firearm is used by Antonio Banderas' character in the cemetery scene?
And I would not know this one for sure.
And I will get the magical effect up in just a moment.
We got briefcase gun.
Got to get that TikTok.
1911 is not a 1911. It's not a suppressed Ruger Mark II. I don't know what's on an M9. What? Yeah, that's not enough. Okay. I think we might have it. I'm gonna go check for some better. Which one do you think? Raphael or Sean? We got a winner. We just had to figure out which one.
Didn't Mr. Morales get it?
Yeah, but Connery got it also. I think Connery might have been.
I had to turn that off. I couldn't hear you.
It's debatable. We're flipping back and forth, and they were pretty close. You know what we should do is come up with like a head question or a face-off question when we get a close one. Raphael was really close on the gun channels on the YouTube side, but I think Connery was first on the gun channel side with what is this? Gonzo? No, Gonzi. I don't know. There's no way to say that. It's just a bunch of letters.
High Tech or Gonzi's Gun Company.
Gonzi's Gun Company.
GONCZ Gun Company.
So I think there might have been some answers that were abbreviations ahead, but they weren't obvious enough abbreviations. So I think we're going to give that one to Connery, and if Bob was here, he would tell the rest of y'all to up.
Yep. So congratulations, Connery. You are today's tactical hot shot for today. And you know what to do, but go ahead, head on over to dailygunchannel.com/popquiz, fill out the form just so we can keep track of the winners. and tally them up when needed. And thank you very much for participating in today's Tactical Pop Quiz. Now, just as a side note out there, we are looking at a very low pile of questions currently. So if you can help us out and send some questions and answers into us, we would greatly appreciate it. And please send them to dailygunshow@gmail.com. And just in the subject line, just put pop quiz and then put your information down below. It would be greatly appreciated. So that's the pop quiz for today.
Right on. I think next, let's go to gun of the day. And I'm going to let Jimmy or Heavy come up with one. So we've been looking at nothing but guns all day. What should we make the
good
gun?
idea.
Plus Bobby in here.
Yeah. Did you do the one that the I don't know, what is it? The Winchester 1870?
73 to 22?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were looking today. We went down to a museum in Tombstone, Arizona, and getting new pictures, better pictures for the and got to go into a museum that's normally closed. We had a little extra access, which was pretty cool. And one of the guns that is hard to find is the Winchester 73. So Winchester 73, they eventually chambered it in 22, and there's very few of them, and she had one there. So that's the typical lever action that we're familiar with, just chambered in 22 short. That one was 22 short. Yeah. Kind of cool. And this is a museum in Tombstone, so more than likely that has provenance from Tombstone, and it definitely has a lot of character. You're just looking at those old guns, it's kind of cool thinking about how many. Well, it's 1873, so 1973 was 100 years, and that was 70, so now we're talking 30, 40, 50 years, 150 years worth of dinks, and that's kind of neat. And it's kind of neat to hold something like that. I don't care what anybody says, that talks to you. You know, that's something to hold on to.
And you hold that with a reverence. And by the wood, never by the metal.
You know, do you think that those guys, in wherever it was, Connecticut or what, went back in the day, the 1800s, do you think that they had any concept of like the thing that they were putting together that day? 50 years later, we'd be sitting around on some kind of thing, talking to potentially everybody in the country about that one thing that they put together that day. How cool is that?
That was all pretty good.
Now, was that one for display only? I'm assuming that it was not for sale.
This was in a museum, yeah. So, I guess technically, if you want to buy it, let me know. But it's
you might have to buy the rest of the museum too.
Anyways, so we try to do a gun of the day every single day. One of the reasons we do a daily show is so we can touch some of these things on a daily basis. Usually, Bob goes out and finds crazy stuff for us to talk about, but like I say, today we happen to be literally hands-on to she's the hairdresser lady over there. She's always there. We've got to go put hands on a bunch of cool guns today. Not as many as we would have wanted. We kind of got slighted by one place, but we had other places that were more than happy to oblige and help us out. I'm trying to flip my mouse. I'm using this little goofy travel mouse, which I don't recommend. And am I scrolled up still? Why don't we head over to the gun movie? So I'm going to put odds on Dano has not seen this movie. So every day we try to talk about a movie, something that if you're an old timer you haven't seen in a while, so we're reminding you of something you might want to see. Or if you're young and it's something you ain't seen yet. This one, though, isn't very old. I don't know when Training Day came out. Anyway, the movie is Training Day. So, Dano, have you seen that?
I have absolutely not seen this movie.
Okay, I don't think it's a Dano movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. I actually own a copy of it.
It's basically a rookie cop. No, he's not a rookie. He's just a cop transitioning into detective or something. And he goes on the initial orientation ride with his sergeant? I don't know what he is.
Yeah, I think so.
Higher up, and it turns into just a crazy adventure that I'm not going to ruin it, but it's.
If you're like Dano, been living under a rock for the last since the movie came out, go check it out. It's a very good movie.
It was the 2000s.
Yeah, early
right?
2000s. Yeah.
It was an excellent movie.
It's definitely a different take on your buddy cop movie. It was not really a buddy cop movie. I don't know if you'd like it, Dano. There's a heck of a lot of drugs and strippers and like violence. Just it's almost like Pulp Fiction-y, like weird, but not quite so weird as Pulp Fiction. But definitely like you've never seen anything coming, right? Like, oh, I
definitely did not get Pulp Fiction at all.
You did not like Pulp Fiction?
No, I thought it was just freaky weird.
Yeah, there was some stuff in there that I really certainly hope isn't like Real Cops. I think it was. It's definitely not a pro cop movie.
No, it's not. Well, in a way, it is. It's a pro one good cop type thing.
Now, I honestly don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's not my favorite movie, so I haven't seen it over and over. But I don't remember the end, so don't spoil it for me. But you guys liked it then?
Oh yeah, you would like the ending.
Okay.
I think you would really like the ending.
Go watch it again.
Yes.
Okay. And I think it's everywhere. I don't think it's hard to find, right?
No. I mean, you can pick it up at the $5 bin at Walmart in the DVD form. So you could probably get it. It might even be on Netflix. I don't know.
Oh, we should not forget. Thank you, Sean, for mentioning there's a very young Eva Mendes in it.
Oh yes. The best part of the movie.
One of the best parts.
Yeah, one of the best parts.
And I'm just seeing if any other stuff. It's kind of hard to read the screen here with the way the sun's hitting it right now.
Is a young Eva Mendes?
Huh?
It says one of the comments on YouTube is a young Eva Mendes.
Yeah, we were just saying. Yeah, definitely one of the better parts of the movie. All right, well, that's the whole point of that segment of the show, though. We're not necessarily going to give you a review like when Z was here. He definitely knew how to do movie reviews, but we just like to mention a movie so that you hopefully get something out of the show. And if you're sitting around like I do half the time and you're like, I want to watch something, like what should I watch? I don't know, maybe you can look at our show notes and get an idea or listen, think about one of the things we talked about. And on that note, why don't we look forward and talk about what else we're going to be, our other movies of the week this week.
Why don't we?
Let me just real quick say, and just in case somebody wants to get ahead of us and watch them, we're going to be talking about The Rock and then The Rundown. And those are both have The Rock in them, and they're okay.
Looks like
What's going on, guys?
Hey, we got a
Hey!
What's up, Smeg?
You guys just in time. We were just about to stop talking about the movie Training Day. Is that one that you've seen?
I have seen Training Day. I thought it was pretty good.
So I guess we didn't do thumbs up. I'm going to give it 1 thumb up, just because I don't remember it all that great.
I'll give it 2 thumbs up. It's a really good movie.
I'll give it 2. Definitely a must-watch.
Dano hasn't seen
Maggie,
it.
how about you?
Sorry, guys. I'm on the road still. I'm driving.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I might be cutting in and out a little bit, but I should be in civilization enough that I'll keep a signal.
Are you giving Training Day a thumbs up or what?
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up.
All right, so there you go. You have to watch Training Day now.
Oh.
So I'm going to suggest, since how many gun shops did we see today?
We have one for today.
Yeah. Well, I know we have one already from Mr. Wright, but I'm going to say, why don't we kick that one down another day, since that's from email, and we just got these guys who just came out of watching. I mean, we've been going to gun shops all morning, so I'm going to let these guys pick a gun shop.
Okay. Sure.
I like that Milsurp one.
Apocalypse Arms.
Yeah, Apocalypse Arms is really good.
So we've talked about this one in the past.
A Jarhead's in charge of it, so.
Oh yeah, I have his bias. So, so Sierra Vista, Arizona is about an hour or so south of Tucson, going towards Mexico, and about halfway between Tombstone and Tucson.
It's literally right outside of Fort Huachuca.
Yep, and it's where Yankee went to his military intelligence classes, so he's talked about it. It's where they pilot drones and stuff. It's a fairly large fort. So it's a fairly large town out there, middle of the desert, and they've got, kind of depends. It seems like every time I go there, they kind of shuffle around their gun shops, but usually 3 or 4 gun shops. It's not. It's maybe, I want to say maybe 7 years old or something. Is Apocalypse Arms, and they are. We've talked about them before. They're one of the few that I've seen actual good surplus stores where they have surplus, and it, like the pair of pants I got today, the multicam issue BDUs or whatever they're called now, $15 for used ones. It's crazy. So it's that kind of surplus store where you can actually afford to buy surplus. So I always dug it there, and it was just a surplus store for years. And then the last maybe 3 years, he became a gun shop. But he was in that place we went to first. So he's moved down the street and across the street from his big competition, much closer to the entrance to the fort. And now it's a much bigger place. And there's 4 times, 5 times more guns than we used to have. And I'd say a very good selection of guns. We've got some pictures of it. We'll share once we get back to the real computers where we can upload stuff. But still has all of his surplus. I think even organized a little bit better. It used to be kind of 2 storefronts. So there was like a wall in between the maintenance part of the store. And just a cool place. You can tell from the customers coming in, having like casual, like real friendly environment. They greeted everybody as they come in. There was a lot of weird questions, and they were just, they answered them all. They were polite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ponery would have been in love.
Yeah, there was a lady down there, bought herself a couple of handguns and a 50 BMG bolt action. It was really. It's a big ass gun. I think it was as big as she was, actually.
Yeah, this little girl walked in with a gun that was about 3/4 her size.
So you think that's like a Father's Day present or something?
No, for her, because she was saying that made her happy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she identified as a guy.
You mentioned something about the surplus side of it that I really like. The fact you said it's like a real surplus thing. Like you can afford to buy the stuff, and it's actually used issue things. I've been into a handful of surplus shops, and it's all like 511 gear or something, which, I mean, okay, that's fine, but it's not really like a surplus store.
Right. I agree with Smeggy. That's around my area. We tend to get the same thing where it says surplus, but it really isn't.
Or like it'll be surplus, but then it's like the stuff you can get at like a hardware store, like the what is that brand, that camping stuff that you can get at like any hardware store or Walmart.
Yeah.
That like that same old like a yellow tent stakes, just like garbage that nobody even uses. And it's like, oh yeah, we're a surplus store. Like, no.
Yeah, this place is not like that. A lot of the 511 gear, stuff like that too.
Well, it's right outside of a fort.
Yeah,
those guys, whatever, you get outsourced or whatever they call it, you get out processed, and a lot of times they tell you to keep your clothes because they don't care.
Yeah.
And then you offload them, especially guys that have been in for a while, right? I've seen guys come in with like 8 pair of pants, and they only need to keep 1 or something. So
I did the same thing. I got rid of all my dress uniforms. I kept my BDUs in my Smurf suit so I could, and I ended up wearing those out.
Yeah, exactly, because they're usable clothes. Yeah. But yeah, Class A, what do you do with that? Unless you're planning on going to your birthday.
I actually gave my blues to another jarhead who needed them, so.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But then we were talking for a bit. Hopefully he took my advice on that bayonet. Otherwise, if you're looking to make $60, they've got a $110 bayonet priced at $40.
Yeah.
Tried to give him a heads up on that, but as we were talking to him, we saw Heavy's hat, and then the obligatory half an hour worth of hoorahs and slap acid.
And the cool thing was he was in aviation too. He worked on Harriers, I worked on 53s, so it was really cool.
So yeah, we
I know this.
Go ahead.
We're talking about gun shop of the day, but when you're done with that, I'd be interested in hearing just some of the other places you visited today.
Sure. Well, we like just saying we try to hit a gun shop every day. So what we did today was drive from Heavy and Jimmy came down from Phoenix early because no AC in the car.
Yeah.
No ocean here to cool you down. Anyway, so they came down early.
Have ocean where I was at either.
And Bob's not here, so we can say it. We went to the Triple T truck stop, which is Bob's foster home. He basically can't. He had his RV parked like walking distance from there, so he basically lived there. And then took the cop car with AC down to. We didn't stop at that one in Benson. It was closed. We were too early. But we went down to Tombstone, and there is like a weird little gun shop in Tombstone, but the place next door you went in, right? They said that they're kind of weird hours. So we just looked in the window there, and it's kind of interesting, really small. But then we went to, I don't know if you call them gun shops, like the Tombstone tourist shops. They're kind of a gun shop. But got some good feedback on the Old West gun cards. That was great. And then Heavy and Jimmy both went into the shooting gallery there on Tombstone's main street, where you can shoot crystal primers, big pistol primers, and semi-distance rounds. You said
it was big pistols and wax balls. So
and then you just shoot real Rugers with basically wax ammo at these steel targets. We got a video of that, and then we left out of Tombstone. We went south towards Echuca. We were planning on going to the museum. We didn't realize you have to do like an extensive background check to get in there, but went down to two gun shops in Sierra Vista. A couple of them were closed. And then we went to a shop outside of Vail, which is about coming back towards Tucson.
We hit up, let's see, what is it? We went to one place, and then as we were leaving, there was
we went to the knife shop,
and then right next door was King's Armory.
The new shop had opened. And that was a little shop, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, they were cool.
Now they do have gun shows down in Sierra Vista, so it's possible that guy's doing that transition like Bob did, where he was selling at gun shows, and then eventually, when you're doing enough wholesale business, they want to have a permanent address for shipping and stuff. So guys will open up a shop. It's limited hours, easy to manage, rent, and it looks like it's that kind of a startup. Nice guy, super friendly. Obviously, we weren't buying anything. He was still nice.
And then we went to. That's when right after that we went to
the Apocalypse
Arms, and then Fiasco thing, and then down to what was the name? It was right next to that one with the
High Range or High something.
Yeah.
And then there was right next to another one that was closed. So we got to a couple, and then we got pictures of all of them. Then, like I say, we went to this one in Vail, and they got to check that out. And then we went to Tucson Guns, which has been a supporter of gun websites for a long time. Bob's been a friend of mine for a long, long time, and just got some more pictures for the deck out of Bob's personal collection, so that was pretty cool. These guys got to see the shop.
Yeah. Man, the guns and the history we saw today was phenomenal. Phenomenal, people.
Oh, and then I guess it's not a gun shop, but of course we got access to the museum down there. Which kind of neat, going into a museum, having her take the keys and open the displays and letting us take the guns out, fiddle with them, and then take pictures and fiddle with them again.
It was a different experience for sure.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are kind of blown away a little bit, because I know I forget who it was, but somebody was kind of poo-pooing it yesterday, and I'm glad to hear it worked out great.
I wasn't poo-pooing it. Were you poo-pooing it?
No. Jimmy's poo-pooing it.
No.
I poo-poo?
Somebody over in Gun Channels.
Oh.
All right, so anyway, that was our gun shop experience today. We'll have plenty of stuff to talk about in future days, though. So like I say, we like to feature a different gun shop every single day.
What was the name of again?
What do I do? I go, hey, do you mind if I take a couple of pictures and share them?
And they're like, go right
except for
ahead.
the one guy who was kind of kidding. He's like, oh, I don't know. But he's like, of course, I don't care. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And you got a camera on your phone, so very cool. And what does it do? It starts a conversation.
Yeah.
What for? What are you doing? Oh, and then blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you're talking. Unless you're in Vail. Then get the hell out of my store. So not always. But anyway, what do we got left? Oh, Smeggy's here. Can anybody else do the... Oh, shit. Smeggy, you're driving, so it's probably not opportune to do the hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown. We'll move it to tomorrow.
Push that off. I would appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. And like I say, we're a little concerned that the battery might crap out on us here. We're about an hour away from meeting Enrique Sonora, another member over on Gun Channels down at Triple T. We're gonna be there again with him. So I guess we can start to wrap up. I think we did all the pieces about gun history, history of the day. Everybody remember what today is? I certainly know that most of the people we drove past don't know what today is. Today is June 14th is Flag Day, and I've seen one flag up today. What's up with that? Has anybody else seen any flags up? Or extra flags up, I should say?
Yesterday I saw a few flags, but that was yesterday. They weren't normally up.
And of course, thanks, Sean. It's also what, our 165th birthday, Dano? Something like that. Sorry, it's the Army's birthday today.
Oh yeah.
I think it's 165. We're not as old as you guys. You're first, I think.
I think you guys got us beat by a couple.
Oh no,
of
yeah,
months.
we're beat by a couple of months actually. Yeah. So are you 165? I don't know. We're old today.
Yeah, we're old.
Otherwise,
So,
to my normal
You guys are
thing.
more than 165.
I'll do the quote and the sound effect at the end. So just let me know.
Okay. Smeggy, I don't know if you had anything to throw in. Otherwise, we can talk about gun channels tonight. It is Wednesday, so Matt Never Enough Ammo should be having a show. In about an hour, I think he starts it up. And then
I thought it was 2 hours, but
are you doing anything tomorrow?
No.
I mean, early watch.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be on tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central.
So we got it right from the early watch's mouth. Huh?
242 years old.
242. Yeah, no. Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
So everybody who's in Army can
That's 242s? That's like double the right answer.
Yeah, exactly. Today of all days, they let us in.
Yeah,
All kinds of shit because we forgot our carry guns. I guess you can't bring carry guns on the Army Fort Meade. Let's see. That was Gun Channels tonight. Tomorrow will be episode 334. If I scroll down too much, we'll be talking about CCW and the CCW Sash. We'll be talking about gun stuff. The worst gun gauge you ever wasted money on. Oh, we're talking about 9mm tomorrow. And then training. We'll be talking about Mike Pannone. So a Tucson native. Well, at least he lives in Tucson now, I think. And then all the normal stuff we talk about on a daily basis. So looking forward to talking to everybody. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. And I guess with that, you say you got the quote, Dano?
Yep.
All right, it's all yours. Thanks, everybody.
All right, Smeg, you got anything before I do the quote?
No, not really. Just like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. You guys know what to do.
All right, we like to end every show on a quote, and today we have one from Pericles, I believe is the pronunciation of the name, although I might have it off. And the quote is as follows: "Freedom is the sure possession of those alone who have the courage to defend it." And on that note, I'd like to thank you for listening, and please be prepared.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com. The guys and gals